Right then guys, welcome back to another video. Before we start this video, come and join the school community. All the content in the world on there, guys, all the best content. Would love to have you there. One-to-one calls with me, extra content. I can go deeper into detail and reveal a lot of like behind the scenes stuff and whatnot. And yeah, you get massive discounts on the new products, the coats, the fashion in general, and the famous supplements. You'll get a heavy discount on them too, guys, so major benefits. You'll get a discount on one-to-one calls with me as well if you want to book one in, so yeah, major benefits. If you want to pre-order the coats, if you want to pre-order the supplements, they're about a week out, so links will be below. We've only got 50 coats, and obviously that's across 4 sizes, so that's why I'm doing pre-order. I'm sorry if you miss out. I will be bringing out some variations and some, you know, other versions in the future and stuff like that, but we're just seeing how it goes first. It's the highest quality material in the world for trench coats. We're going big. We're going very, very big. But for the sake of this video, guys, what I want to talk about is Stoicism. Now, being Stoic is something that I never really explored in previous videos. I never really thought about it too much, but I've been thinking about it recently with a lot of different events that have happened in my life and stuff like that. And I really do think it's the greatest quality that I have gained in my 30s. I think being able to control my mind is the biggest quality that I've been able to have in my 30s. I think being stoic, and I think being stoic overlaps into discipline, because I think a stoic man, even though it doesn't fall under this description, I think a stoic man is in control of his emotions. So what I would class as emotion is lust, horniness. You know, I want to masturbate. No, I can't do it because, you know, I'm a grown man. I would class it into the same bracket. Or, oh, I feel tired today. I don't really want to work. I don't really want to go to the gym. No, I have to do it anyway. I would class that as stoicism, because honestly, I would 100% say that's a stoic man, because that's somebody who's weighed it up, thought about it, and then engaged his neocortex, the logical thinking part of the brain, and then gone, yeah, I need to do it. I need to get it done. And this is where this topic really takes off, okay? So number one, I think it's the most important quality for a man who's a little bit older. I think losing your cool, getting angry, I think aggression in general, I think is just so low level. I think anybody who loses control, shouts and screams, and just, I've seen it a few times this year with people that I used to respect. I just saw them completely lose their rag, or like they weren't in control of their emotions, very much like I was when I was like 19, and I was like, that's a red flag. That's major, men and women, and it's just not something I want to be around. And I think, you know, when I say to you guys, like, honestly right now, I truly believe I would do this. If my wife of like 10 years came home and was like, I got something to tell you, I've cheated on you, I'd be like, well, that sucks. And that's, you know, you shouldn't have done that. I'd be like, it's terrible. You're obviously gone. But I'd be like, it's your life. You can do whatever you want. You obviously did it because you didn't think I was enough. I'd be like, yeah, I can live with that. Like, so what? Guess I picked the wrong woman. Goodbye. Or maybe, you know, maybe I just wasn't doing what I promised at the start. Maybe I just wasn't holding my end of the bargain. Either way, I can deal with it. I can move on. You know, no hard feelings. I'm pretty emotionless in that sense. I don't really let the weakness in. I can't wait to make the video on that, actually, guys. It's gonna be really fun. I might go into some serious detail on that and do some proper production or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, I would hugely advise trying to kill your emotions. And I know it sounds strange, but here's how you do it. And the first thing you got to do is read a book called The Chimp Paradox. And the Chimp Paradox talks about how you can actually control yourself, how you can control your brain, how, you know, you're governed. This is what you don't want, okay? This is a childlike thing. You're governed by your emotions. You're governed by that rush of blood to the head. You know when people say that, why did you do it? Why did you lash out? Oh, I had a rush of blood to the head. When I get angry, I can't control myself. That's not attractive. And I don't mean that in just like a sexual sense. I mean, that's not attractive as a human quality. If I had a business partner and they said, oh, I just lose my rag all the time, I'd be like, I don't want to be in business with you. That's not something I want to be around. Or if I had a friend that always just lost his shit and then went, sorry, mate, you know what I'm like. I'd be like, yeah, I do, and you're a prick. Get out of my life. You know, I want somebody who's in control permanently. I want somebody, you know, if I was with a woman and she just loses her rag and just says, oh, I think you're cheating on me, and then later on she's like, oh, sorry babe, I love you, and she's up and down, like, what do we call that? We call her crazy. Do you know what I mean? We say, like, she's emotional, she's crazy, she's bipolar. Like, you hear all these terms. They're not attractive qualities. Nobody wants to be around that. So this is something that you guys need to master, and once you master it, you're in control of your life. You are in control of everything that you do, and it's so important. And I think, as much as we're talking about mindset here, it's honestly, it begins with being stoic, because I think being stoic is the first step where, you know, you get in, I don't really need that deal with the cap on. Somebody's irritating you and you're just calm about it. Your girl's giving you drama and you're calm about it. Well, that same man is very likely going to be like, oh God, I'm tired and today's a tough day, but I need to do what I need to do anyway. You're going to train yourself. It's the easiest way, and it all ties into the same thing. Now, chimp paradox, first thing, read the book. Once you've done that, start searching the 3 different brain types. This is how I did it. I was shocked to find out that we only use the logical thinking part of our brain like 5 to 20% of the time, and for most people it is like 5% of the time. Now, so what are we using? So that's called the neocortex. So what are we using? We're using the limbic brain, and we're using, sorry, my voice nearly gave way there. We're using the limbic brain, and we're using the reptilian brain, which is like, the reptilian brain is like feed, fight, fuck, all those basic needs. And yeah, my voice is really sore. I think it's because I'm shouting in the car so you guys can hear me. But then you've got the limbic brain, which is the emotional part of the brain, which, you know, you don't want to be using, guys, believe me. You can use it now and then. Being empathetic is a nice quality, believe me. It's an ego killer, it's very nice. But most of your decisions, in order to be a leader, in order to be a masculine man who's having a good life, you need to be thinking for the neocortex as much as possible. And I wrote a book years ago. I can't remember what it's called now. It's something to do with good decision making. Oh, good decisions versus bad decisions. I mean, it's probably on Amazon as an ebook, but I was thinking about this shit years ago. That's just proof, so you know that I actually did train myself. And I came up with chain reaction theory, which was, I think most people every day are making terrible, shitty decisions. I think you're waking up and going, oh, I'm going to reach for my phone, I'm going to go on Pornhub, I'm going to play with my penis, now I'm tired, should I work? Nah, I'll go and eat some food. Should I eat some good food? I'm going to reward myself, I trained yesterday. Do you know what I mean? It's bad decision after bad decision. That's why people don't have a good life. It's like 10 years later, oh, this thing affected my life. It's like, no, what you've been doing for 10 years, the chain reaction of poor decisions has affected your life, believe me. So I came up with a theory that if you had good decision or perfect decisions, one after the other, I don't think it would take too long to put your life in order, and that's what I chased after, and I think it paid off. And the way I did that is by engaging the neocortex, and to think that we only use it like 5% of the time on average as humans, and the top level people use it 20% of the time. I swear to God, I think I use it for the majority of the day. I've just found a way to just overwrite my brain. Like, I'll eat some foods and I'll go, oh, I need to wash the dishes, I really don't want to, I'm tired. You got to do it. Before I go to bed, I'm too tired. I do my skincare in the morning, and then I just find myself doing it. I find myself just doing the chewing exercises, staying on top of habits. Oh, I've got to trim my toenails. Oh, they're not that long. I just find myself doing it. I just have this like overwrite button, like a robot, where I just go do it anyway, and I just do it. It's really weird. I've had it in the gym where, like, I'm really tired, don't really want to train, and I bust out PBs because I'm just like, just do it anyway. And I just find myself getting into this really good zone, and it's where that mentality's come from with women as well, where, I mean, I don't like getting personal into my personal life, especially when it's like recent events. I do more on school, but I dated somebody recently, and I was just like, you do you. Like, you know, if you want to date other people, you want to go and see someone else, like, I don't own you, I don't control you, even if we were together, I don't. And she was just like, shit, like, nobody has got that mentality. And I promise you guys, it goes a long way. And it's not about being like aloof and carefree and whatnot. I care, do you know what I mean? I do care about people, but I just understand that I can't control people. I understand that I'm not God, I don't have that much power over them. And people are entitled to do whatever they want to do. They have their own decisions. They can just choose how to live their own lives. and I just don't get affected by people or situations. And now I'll be honest with you, I haven't lost my cool in years, and it's a really nice feeling. And then what that does is that bridges over to good business decisions, good life decisions. I don't make decisions when I'm, I don't get too high, I don't get too low. I'm like just comfortably living at like a 7. And I can choose to let the Disney in, which is cool. I can have like really cool moments, and you'll see it in the stream platform vlog on YouTube, or video or series, documentary, Top Gear style show. I don't know what to call it. You'll see it on School if you sign up, which is $49 per month, £38. I will raise it up soon. It has to. It's natural progression. I don't want too many people in there, otherwise it spoils it for everybody. So I will be putting that price up soon. But you'll see it in there. I got pretty excited about being in Paris, Madrid, stuff like that. These are cool events. I'm not a robot, like I said. I can act like one, but I'm not a robot. And I can fall in love. I can have all these emotions, but I'm very much in control of when I let them happen. I'm very much in control of like how far they go. They don't control me. Like I've said to you guys for years, if somebody else drives you to work and they leave your job, they leave that job, that work, you don't have a lift to work now. What are you going to do? You kind of fucked. You either need to get a license, you need to start paying more for the bus, or you have to change your whole life because you were reliant on someone else. I never wanted that same feature in terms of I never wanted that same feature in terms of my emotional state. I never wanted to be like somebody controls my finances. I rely on that person for happiness. Oh, if she left me, I'd kill myself. I never wanted to be that individual. I couldn't see the benefit of that. And like I said, becoming stoic is probably the best thing that I've adopted in my 30s. And it's harder when you're young. When you're a young man, you're still getting used to like raised levels of testosterone. You have a few wins, you get carried away, you get too high in the highs, you get a little bit cocky. I was speaking to a girl about this the other day. I was like, I had a lot of wins in life, and maybe I just thought that I was like the man and stuff like that. And I was like, apologized for some actions that I did when I was younger. And we just laughed about it, and we're like, yeah, it's cool. And we just discussed it. And I genuinely think I don't have an ego anymore. Like, I'm confident, I believe in myself. I can recognize when I've done good work, but I don't have an ego. Like, nobody can harm me with words. Nobody can say something. If it wasn't true, I'd be like, that definitely isn't true, but I wouldn't get angry about it. And because I think that is one of the weakest qualities of men. I think when you see a guy literally lose his shit and get super angry over something, especially when it's like considered, almost like an alpha male proof, like, oh, you're not that strong. And the guy goes, I am. I'll outlift you. I'll fight you now. When it's that sort of thing, it's just like the ultimate sign of weakness. And honestly, guys, you can't let that shit in. You just gotta laugh about everything and just be like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like, who's gonna... You know that quote, and you shouldn't think about yourself as God, but you know that quote that thou shalt not tempt the Lord? Like, I think a lot of guys should look at it like that, of like, no, like, you're not going to bring that out of me. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing you can say. Like, if a woman says, I want to go here today, and you're like, nah, I don't want to do that. Oh, what's the matter? You scared? You're not man enough? Like, that sort of moment, just be like, no. And just continue as normal. Because if you don't have an ego, you don't need to, like, prove yourself. You don't need to come back. Like, that stoic nature overlaps into so many different areas of life. And the greatest thing, I think, in all, is the embarrassment goes away. Like, I don't get embarrassed anymore, any situation. I was actually in Madrid the other day, and I went up to the till speaking Spanish, thinking I was the tits, and I was thinking, oh, my Spanish is fluid here. My Spanish is getting really good. And I just kind of just looked at the woman and I was like, can I pay? And I was holding what I thought was my card. It was my driving license. And she was like, huh? Just like kind of looking at me like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I just looked down and went, oh shit, there's like 3 or 4 women there. I was like, that's really embarrassing. But I just like laughed my head off, and I was just like thinking, what an idiot I am. And then just got the other one out and was like, can I pay, sort of thing. And she was like laughing. But none of that affects me anymore, and it's just really nice. Like, I'm always in a calm state. Like, if you've got a beautiful woman with you and you go out on a night out and guys are trying it and whatever, just having that level of calmness, just having that level of like any room you walk into, just taking a deep breath and just being like, nobody's here to hurt me. I'm comfortable in my surroundings. This is good. Like I think you get to that level from mastering the stoic mindset. But I also think that is life experience. And there's something I want to do actually, guys. I want to get 5 of you per month at my house in London. And I don't want any more than 5. I just want 5 guys that I can really focus on for like 3 days and do an intensive workshop. And I want to do all the different topics that I always talk about. But one big one that I want to go through is like exposure therapy. I want to expose you guys, you know, to like difficult scenarios, difficult events, difficult moments where you're like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Like, really don't want to do it. Like comfort zone challenges and stuff like that. Because it will just bring the best out of you, I promise. And once you become that individual that's like, yeah, I'll go up on stage and I'll do a speech. Yeah, I don't mind doing this and that. Like, it's a really nice feeling. Like, I was driving around Paris, driving around Madrid, and obviously London is that is the 3 biggest cities in Europe. And I'm driving through, and you know, obviously you got to switch sides of the road from Paris to London. 2 cities I've never driven in before. Madrid I've never even been to before. And I'm just driving around. I'm happy to be there. I'm confident. I'm not worried. I'm not panicking and stuff like that. I'm calm. I feel as though, you know, I belong there. I feel as though I'm one of the higher level individuals in that place. Whereas when I was younger to Paris, I'd be like, oh, all these people are better than me. Big old Paris and stuff like that. Big old London. Whereas now I feel like I'm in control of these environments. And I think that's definitely life experience. It's definitely maturity. It's definitely, you know, going up to another level where you believe in yourself. But that stoic mindset of just engaging that neocortex as much as possible and not walking into a room and going, reptilian brain, everyone's a threat, who's going to fight me? Don't worry about that. Then looking and getting emotional because there's a guy that used to sleep with your girlfriend, they used to be together before. The neocortex guy goes, she had a life before me, like, why would that matter? Like, he found her attractive, I find her attractive, they knew each other before they knew me. It's not personal. Like, I don't really see the issue. Oh, there's 20 guys that she slept with. Okay, well, my neocortex is telling me that this isn't a good woman, but I'm not going to get emotional about it. I'm just going to say goodbye. I don't need to change her. I don't need to tell her, oh, you're terrible because you did this. And what happens to a lot of guys is their reality doesn't match their internal. It's a major issue. If you think in your head you're the quickest guy in the world and then you went for a race and you lost to like 10 different people, you'd be like, I'm really annoyed. You'd start making excuses. You'd be like, I don't know what just fucking happened. Like, that shouldn't have happened. You start getting annoyed. Like, if you think you're the most handsome guy in the world and a girl rejects you, you're going to lose your shit. I've seen guys do that because they don't know who they are. They don't know where their reality sits. They're not aware of like the world around them. They're kind of delusional. And that's what happens to a lot of guys. Their reality, or the reality of the world, doesn't match what's going on in their head. And that's when it starts to fuck up. And that's when, like, for example, if you walk into a room and you find out that your girl's actually, you know, she slept around a little and there's at least 10 guys in that room that have slept with her and people are just like telling you things and whatnot. A calm guy who engages his neocortex would go, okay, like, maybe I've made an error here. She seems like a good woman now. Maybe she's evolved. Maybe she's better now, but that's not really somebody that I want to be with. I don't feel comfortable with it. That's just my personal preference. I'm going to walk away. And you can do that very calmly. You don't have to get emotional. A guy whose reality doesn't match his head or his vision of the world, and he thinks, oh, this is going to be my wife, I found a good one. He's got almost like a scarce mindset. He's going to lose his shit. He's going to try and fight every guy in that room, or at least the one he thinks he can beat, or at least the most handsome one that he thinks a threat, which is, again, limbic brain, emotional and reptilian brain, to take out what he would perceive as the biggest threat. That's very low level behavior. To not be threatened by any man is super high level behavior, and to be calm about it, and to not really care too much, and to rationalize things and understand why these things are happening, that's super high level. But that guy is going to lose his shit, and what else he's going to do? He's going to shout and scream at the woman. He's going to blame her for her past. Such a fucking slag and all this shit. Even though, you know, it's a horrible term, you shouldn't be using terms like that, guys. You should be higher level than that. But even if that, you know, does hold some truth, there's no point even telling her. I just don't know what benefit you would get from talking like that to somebody. Doesn't make you look any better. You're not going to be considered a top 1% high level man just because you've said to some other woman she's low level. That has no benefit to you. You know, that's a weird mindset to be holding. It's not something you need to do as a man. That's not masculine behavior, believe me. So, you know, that stoic mindset, work on it as much as you can. And I'll tell you the first time I ever conquered it, I was probably, when I first read that book, like 22. I was just about to shoot off to Toronto. I was going there for 2 years, and I was still back home with my mum. And I hit my head on the cupboard. I had the cupboard door open and I hit my head, and she was outside mowing the lawn, and I lost my rag internally. And in my head I was like, fucking mum's fault. I was like, fucking hell mum, like leaving the cupboard open and mowing the lawn, making noise, can't hear myself think. You know, you've heard people say that shit before. And I stopped myself after like 2 seconds. I was about to lose my rag, and I just went, no, you idiot. She's just doing her thing outside. I was like, you've left the cupboard door open, you've hit your head. Nothing to do with her. I was like, it's a you mistake, now calm down. And I immediately calmed down. And to do that against pain, I thought was quite high level, and that was after I read that book, The Chimp Paradox. And I think that is probably one of the biggest signs of maturity and growing as a man. I think it's a massive sign of strength too. And I think it's something, I should have gone left there actually, it would have been a nice drive for you guys, but this is kind of cool too. We got 50 miles, I'll tell you what we're going to do, we're going to go up to the top, it's going to be really nice, you guys are going to love it. Yeah, that's one thing that you guys should chase after. I promise you, it's one of the greatest things that you can have in life, because it'll improve your decision making. Once you're in control of yourself, your emotions, like me not losing my rag over hitting my head on a cupboard and being in pain, I personally think that bridges into showing up at the gym at 5 a.m. I personally think that bridges into going to bed at 10, even though it's like, I want to stay up and watch that movie. You're like, I shouldn't, because I want to be a better individual. That's like thinking with your neocortex, the logical thinking part of the brain. I think it's the biggest sign of maturity, and probably the greatest thing that I mean, do you ever master anything? I don't know, but it's the greatest thing that I've got good at in my 30s. It's something that I'm very, very appreciative of. One thing I'm not appreciative of is the size of this lorry that's trying to get through this thin lane. I don't know how well this is going to go. This is a bit of an issue. He got past that car, he'll be fine with me. I don't know why they still have roads like this. It's mad, isn't it? Especially around here. Like, around here is just country roads. It's really difficult. So it always put me off in the past as well, getting like a ridiculous, I know this car's huge, but like supercars are so wide, I just don't think you'd be able to drive it around here. I think with the amount of potholes and hills and small lanes and stuff like that, I think you'd really struggle, man. That's the life setup 101. But yeah, in terms of stoicism, guys, master it, chase it. Like I said, it's the one thing that I'm most appreciative of in my 30s. And I've had loads of guys on school calls, one-to-one school calls, where I've said to them about this, you know, especially with women, and they're like, when you first made that video, I thought you were full of shit. They're like, I'll be honest with you, like, I thought, oh no, Chris is soft, he's a simp and whatnot. But they were like, I've started doing it in my own life, and yeah, you're right. They're like, it really works. Women really just respond well to it. Like the video that I made, I mean, people in general, because I don't want to make the video about women, people will see it in business. But, you know, women's such a good example because everybody any age can see it. But if you just don't react, like you can really understand the measure of a man by the way he reacts to various situations. He can pretend to be calm, he can be in, you know, when people are low on money, you see the real them. When they're maybe like going through a breakup, you can see the real them. I like those moments. I like it when people are going through shit, because I know I found out the most about myself when I was going through shit. So, you know, by power of mirroring, I assume I'm going to know the most about that person when they're going through shit. I've been in relationships with girls in the past where we've really struggled financially, and they've gone and got like a second job, or they blamed me, and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm with the wrong woman here, or I'm with the right woman. Like, it really exposed it for me, and that's why you should be grateful of going through these things. But yeah, the stoic man, I think it's a wonderful spot to be in. It doesn't mean you don't have emotions. Like, let's say somebody I know, somebody I love passed away tomorrow. Guys, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be really low. I'm going to be upset. I'm going to take a few days. But I'm not going to stop doing the right things. I'm still going to go to the gym. I'm still going to treat people with respect. My problems don't have to become their problems. That's one of the biggest things that I've done in my 30s, is that I used to complain a lot. When things were going wrong, I used to have to tell people about them. Like I said, I don't want to get too personal, but I was with a girl the other day and I was talking about a problem that she asked about. And after about 10 seconds, I was like, but you don't want to hear about it. I was like, let's just have fun, let's enjoy ourselves. And people respond really well to it, because people don't want to hear you moan, especially as a man. Like, you let the Disney in later in life. You let the softness in when you choose to, in certain moments. I was saying on a school call, if you go and buy a house, you got to make sure that house is secure. Your woman has to make sure it's beautiful and you're going to make memories. You have to make sure it's secure. You have to make sure it's not too close to the road where one of your kids is going to run out playing with a football and get run over. You got to make sure you can put security cameras up. You got to have a look at the crime rates before you get there. You know, that's your job. Then you can let the Disney in. Then you can sit there and have a little picnic in the garden and kiss your wife and hug your kids and whatnot. But as a man, like, you need to be on top of this shit early on. I'm telling you guys, you can't. I hate stopping, guys. I hate stopping. I like motion. I like speed. But yeah, you can let all that shit in at some point. But if you want to be a Disney princess, go for it. If you want to be that guy who's always happy, who's always smiling, who's always goofy, who, you know, lets his emotions control him, who wants to like sit and have a moan and gossip about other people and have a little chat and whatnot, do it. But you watch what happens. It's a plague. It will infiltrate your mind, and it like I said, I'm making a video on it soon, but you can't let the softness in. You got to keep it at bay. When you get into bed at night and you're thinking, oh, I wish she was here, I'd love to have a cut, just cut it out. Just cut it out of your brain, because it changes you. And I've thought with this neocortex and this stoic mindset now for a few years, and what it does is it molds you. You start thinking naturally from that point of view. You start thinking like a top level guy. Like I said, you stop letting that softness and weakness in, and it becomes who you are naturally. You know, I think it's an evolution of a little boy to a man. And I was saying to Harry the other day, Harry, who films all my stuff, we were doing the stream platform project. It's called Born on a Budget, Gentleman's Journey, maybe. I haven't come up with a title yet. Maybe you guys can. I think I was going to play on the fact that we did 3 capitals, the fact we did Madrid, Paris, London, and obviously each one is getting bigger each time, like the population size or whatever. I think that's the 3 big boys, maybe like 3 kings of Europe or something like that. I don't know. Somebody help me with the title. But we were filming that, and I said to him, I was like, I feel like I'm ready for kids now. Now, I'm not going to have them anytime soon because I don't have the right woman in place to do so. But, or at least I haven't spent enough time with the right woman yet to do so to know. But I'm ready for kids now because I feel as though I can teach them a lot about life. I feel as though I'm in a position where I could raise a good human. And I've achieved some level of self-mastery. And I think by doing that and getting to a stoic position, that's nice, because if my kid kicks off and starts crying and moaning, which is theory of mind, you know, when you're on a plane, if your kid is like kicking the chair, crying, and you're telling them to stop and they don't understand that other people exist. It's called theory of mind. You develop it as you get older. Now, in my opinion, these things don't stop developing. People say, oh, they're fully developed by 12. I don't think they are. I think science should look into this sort of stuff. I think there's so many qualities that don't develop until maybe you have to choose. Maybe you have to choose to develop them. I don't know. But I think there's so many qualities that you need to... Bounciest road in the world. I do apologize, guys. I think there's so many other qualities that you need to develop as you get older as a man. I think there's so many things you need to overcome, which is such a deeper level of self-improvement, and that's what I love. You know, self-improvement is like, hey, go to the gym, skincare and stuff like that, and orthotropics, make yourself more handsome so you can get more women. I love all that. I think it's so fun. It's what makes this industry. But at the same time, there's like this deep, core-rooted masculine energy, and it's existed throughout time. Like what I'm touching on here in this video is stuff that Marcus Aurelius would have spoken about. You know, it's stuff that like Plato and Socrates would have spoken about. that's the beauty of these topics, and you don't realize them until you get older, until you've been through some shit as a man, until you've had to deal with these situations. Like, I told you guys the story of my dad when he died. Like, the second he died, I gave him a little kiss and a hug and whatnot, said thank you, Dad, for everything. Walked back into the living room, his living room, and I just went into a zone where I was small, I shrank, the world looked massive, and I went, whoa, like everything zoomed out. I just had like an out-of-body experience. You know when people get on the brown paper bag? Like that sort of shit. I could have done that, because I was lost. I was like, what the hell? I think I'm having a panic attack. And I just stopped, breathed, just calmed myself down and went, you've lost your dad, but he's raised you so well that you're prepared for this. It's your time to take over now, step up. I was like, you're going from the son to the man of the family. I was like, fulfill your role, stop being soft. That changed my life. That right there changed my life. And I hope something as drastic as that isn't what has to happen to you guys to get to that stage. I don't think it's necessary. I think you can get there regardless. But there is something about losing your dad that just makes you just change your viewpoint on the world. It's like your first breakup. You know, you go through your first breakup, or you get your first job and you complete your first month, and then you realize, fuck, is this it forever? Like, I'm really gonna have to like figure out a new way to get out of this bubble, because this isn't it forever. Like, I can't do this. And you go through your first breakup and you're like, how could that beautiful little thing crush my heart like that? Like, she's so horrible. I never thought that I could feel pain like this. And it's part of growth, my friends. It's part of becoming that stoic man that you will not regret becoming. Doesn't mean life isn't fun anymore. It just means you're dependable. You're consistent. You're dependable. People can rely on you. They know how you're going to react to things. I've got women in my life now where I say to them, I'll get that booked. And they go, I know you will. I like that, guys. I like that. I really like that. I like being known as that guy. If a woman says to me, can you book a restaurant? And she knows it's going to get done without fail. That, I like that. Somebody's saying that to me. I know you will. Ooh, come here, baby. I like that. That's something that I take pride in, being that masculine man that gets shit done. Alex Hormozy actually had an unbelievable quote, and I want to do like a motivational short around it soon. One of his quotes was, if you want to know the measure of a man or the strength of a man, if you want to know the strength of a man, measure the time it takes between him saying he's going to do something and when he actually does it. I'd say I'm very high up on that board. Whenever I say I'm going to do something, within months, guys, it's done. Within months. I've never not done something that I wanted to do. The only exception to the rule was the streaming platform, which is done. It's just on a different platform. That's just called a mistake. My first version of it was executed quickly, though. And, you know, 1M House, 1M International, that's been executed on quickly. Doing what I'm doing now with clothing, I mentioned to you guys I was going to do some clothing. Bang, it's rolled out, it's ready to go. Like, it's just that is the measure of a man. Somebody who says he's going to do something and then goes and does it in a very short amount of time. I like that. I like what that represents. I like how that feels. I like who I've become. I want that for you guys. Speak to you soon, guys. Have a good one.